Jericho here from the alldaymma.net forum. You should visit us at www.alldaymma.net and start voicing your opinions on the latest in mixed martial arts. What we decided to do today is a UFC fight night for the troops, Kennedy versus Natal. What we're going to do is break down, not really an extensive breakdown, but pretty much we're just going to give predictions of the main card. We'll start off by saying, not what by saying, but the first fight as far as the main card is Colton Smith, and he's taking on Michael Chiesa. Colton Smith 6'2", 6 feet, 155 pounds. But Michael Chiesa is 9'1", 6'1", 155 pounds, as well with a reach of 75 inches. Michael Chiesa definitely a great fighter. He's very good on the ground with front headlocks as far as, guillotines, Peruvian neckties, different ways to choke, his opponent out from the front headlock position. His only loss coming to, truthfully, one of the more savage lightweights in the UFC right now. One of my favorite fighters, which is also fighting on the card, Jorge Masvidal. I believe is going to be on the undercard. Or actually, no, it isn't. He's just the fight right after that. Anyhow, I'm looking at this fight as being pretty much a good fight. It could be a good stand-up fight. As far as the stand-up, Colton Smith, I believe he's going to be the more scrappy of the two as far as the stand-up. But Michael Chiesa, if he uses his reach, the stand-up of Colton Smith shouldn't be a problem at all. However, Colton Smith is a great wrestler as well, but he should definitely be very cautious of his shot because Michael Chiesa's favorite submission is the guillotine. So, with that said, I'm pretty much going with Michael Chiesa for the win, and I'm not looking at a 3-round war here. I'm thinking that Michael Chiesa end up getting a submission within 2 rounds and going to be 10-1 in the UFC. Do I see him being on his way to a title shot or truthfully even as far as title contention? Like the 155 division is more stacked now than it's ever been. And truthfully, with Michael Chandler and Eddie Alvarez having that great fight in Bellator, I was really looking at Eddie Alvarez hopping ship and getting out of his contract with Bellator after this fight. But now with the fight being such a good fight and a close fight and somewhat controversial, I'm seeing that Eddie Alvarez will probably be giving a rubber match to Michael Chandler over there at Bellator before leaving his contract. Next up, we have Jorge Masvidal taking on Rustam Khabilov. Jorge Masvidal at 25-7. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I've been a fan of this guy for years and years and years. Fights out of American Top Team, I believe Coconut Creek. Taking on Rustam Khabilov, 16-1. This is a very close matched fight. Both at 5, or actually Jorge Masvidal is at 5'11", Khabilov 5'10", both at 155 pounds. Of course, they weighed in. With I'm pretty sure Jorge Masvidal definitely is going to have the advantage on the feet. Definitely a very active and very athletic and very technical striker, especially with the hands. Rustam Khabilov is pretty much he's a killer, and this fight is pretty much one of those to where what you see is what you get out of both of these guys. And Rustam Khabilov is one of those guys that is definitely going to try to go for the win within 1 round or 2 rounds. He's one of those guys that just displays power. He's very explosive with the whole suplex game that he brings to the table. However, Jorge Masvidal is very slick. He's crafty. He's a veteran. And, even with those slams that Rustam Khabilov normally displays, Jorge Masvidal, I'm pretty sure, will be able to land in a position to where he's not going to be knocked out and not going to really, he's not going to let those slams and the impact from him, hitting the ground, if that is even a factor, if Khabilov even gets that. And I think that Jorge Masvidal is going to stay on the outside, outbox him, keep him at the end of his punches, and Jorge Masvidal is going to take this fight. Will I say he's going to stop Kabalov? I actually think that he will within 2 rounds, TKO. If it does go to a decision, as long as Jorge Masvidal can work his ground and truthfully not get taken down by Kabalov, and if it does go to the ground, actually work his ground and try for submissions, I got Jorge Masvidal winning the decision as well. Next up, we have Ronnie Marks versus Yoel Romero. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Go ahead and shout out the record. Ronnie Marks 14-1, Yoel Romero 5-1. I have no idea of either one of these guys. I haven't seen either one of these guys fight. I've never even heard of either one of these guys, so I'm not even going to do a prediction on this one. Next up, we have Liz Carmouche versus Alexis Davis. Liz Carmouche at 8-3 versus 14-5. Alexis Davis, and it's a funny thing. A lot of people know of Liz Carmouche as being a WMMA veteran, and a lot of people like to say they're pioneers, this and that. But I mean, for what it is, the WMMA, it hasn't been around as long. Come on, let's be real here. There's no such thing as a pioneer of WMMA. You know what I'm saying? The pioneers of mixed martial arts are people like Horace Gracie, people like Ken Shamrock. You know, I wouldn't even call Tito Ortiz a pioneer. The guys that were here during the very birth of combat sports in the form of martial arts in the U.S. Those are the pioneers. These women are not pioneers. As far as the winner of this fight, I'm not going with Liz Carmouche like a lot of people will go with. And I'm believing those people, the only reason why they will go with Liz Carmouche is for the fact that her name is more heard by them. You know what I'm saying? Like they've heard more from Liz Carmouche, you know, as far as being in Strikeforce and, you know, Elite XC. I got Alexis Davis winning this fight with the stand-up, actually. Alexis Davis, within 3 rounds, I don't see a knockout because they're women. Don't hate a guy. But I'll see Alexis Davis going ahead and taking this win. Next up, we have Tim Kennedy versus Rafael Natal, which is the main event. Both records very similar. Tim Kennedy at 16-4. Rafael Natal at 17-4-1. Tim Kennedy at 5'11", 185 pounds weighed in, where Rafael Natal weighed in at 185 pounds, 6 foot. This fight pretty much is set up for Tim Kennedy to win it. But, you know, you can't count Rafael Natal out because, I mean, from what I've seen, he has decent jiu-jitsu. He's not one of the best stand-up, you know, fighters as far as with the hands. Tim Kennedy definitely more scrappy than Natal. So Natal's going to have to keep his chin tucked, you know, if he wants to get out of the fight, you know, sound and safe and not smelling the salts. The salts. But, yeah, this fight, like I said, man, I mean, it's fight for the troops. Everyone knows Tim Kennedy is a decorated soldier. So it's pretty much set up for, not set up, you know, I'm not going to say set up, but as far as the I'm not even going to say vitals, Tim Kennedy wins this fight just for the fact that it's fight for the troops, and he's going to be fired up, and for Tim Kennedy, taking nothing away from him, truthfully, because he's a very scrappy fighter, and if he's one of those guys that when he hurts his opponent, he tries to get him out of there. He tries to get the fight finished and done, and I'm thinking that he's going to come out in the first round, try to clip Rafael Natal, and finish him in 1 round. Like I said, he's going to be fired up for this fight. It's a fight for the troops, and Tim Kennedy is a soldier, I believe, still. So, here's what it is. In my opinion, not the greatest main event, you know, matchup, but it is what it is. It's a fight for the troops. So, you know, Brian Stan, he's inactive now. He's retired. So he's pretty much Kennedy's the next best thing. As far as the whole event, I'm actually kind of psyched about it, but not, you know, from like the whole situation, not the whole event as a whole, but truthfully, just for the fact that I'm such a huge fan of Jorge Masvidal, And Rustam Khabilov is looking unstoppable ever since he's been in the UFC. And I just want to see how Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, you know, for one, is he gonna respect Rustam Khabilov, or is he gonna fight his normal cocky, hands down, taunting and pretty much his boxing strategy against Rustam Khabilov. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of Jorge Masvidal. I'm a huge fan of American Top Team. This isn't a bias, but like I said, man, I've been rolling with this guy as far as being a fan for over I'd say 5 to 7 years. Like I followed his career all the way up to now, and it's just a wonderful thing to see guys that that you just followed them early in their career to make it to the UFC, for them to get that win, get their get their foot in the in the bathtub, in the water, and after that, this fight right here, he can really show what Gamebred is about. Good night of fights coming tomorrow. I will be tuning in. Once again, this is Daniel Kane. Make sure that you all go over to alldaymma.net and sign up free, register, and start posting. Once again, you can check us out at www.alldaymma.net. This is Louis Thunderbags, and I'm out, bro.